4,
Here.
5,
Here.
6, here, and 7.
Here.
Thank you very much. We have a quorum to conduct official business. I will turn the Commissioner's attention to our agenda, and if there are no recommendations or changes, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So moved.
I move that it's going to be approved as written.
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. I have one request for an amendment by the chair, to add Frank Maduro from the mayor's office immediately after Nicholas Klein's presentation. So I would hope that that motion and second remain on the table.
Does.
Great, thank you very much. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. As is our tradition, we always ask representatives from the Metropolitan Police Department to come up first so that we can get them back on the streets where we need them, keeping them safe. So if we can have a representative 1D come forward, if they are present.
Actually, I believe it's only gonna be 3D at this time. Now it'll be me and now new commander.
All right, then we'll start with Commander Lynn and his team.
Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I'm Sergeant Poe. I've met you the last couple of
Sergeant, would you like to use
meetings.
the microphone?
I can.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Poe, P-O-E, is how you spell it. And first of all, this is our new commander over here, Commander Emmerman, 3D. We'll let him take the mic for a minute and then I'll go over the crowd.
I think my voice booms enough. I don't work with hands. Firstly, good evening and thank you all for coming. I am Stuart Emmerman. I'm the new commander of the 3rd District. Just to give you, rather than bore you, just a little quick on me. This is my 3rd stop at the 3rd District. I was there for about 3.5 years as a sergeant, back from 2004 until the end of 2007. And I did a 1.5 years there as a lieutenant from 2011 until the end of 2012. There's some familiar faces in the room. Doug and I go back a ways. Commissioner Padre, I know, remember each other. So there are some folks here that I'm looking forward to meeting and getting to know, as well as the regulars who I've been familiar with. I'm very big on community partnerships. That's really what I think is the importance in policing, is working with the community, working for the community, and keeping those open lines of communication between us flowing. Sergeant Poe, I've known for years through my stints here at 3D, so I know you're in good hands with him and the PSA Lieutenant, Lieutenant Pierce. My preference is that you work with them on things and on issues that you have. If we're not getting the correct results, or if we need more, a little more push behind it, that's when it comes to me, either through you guys or through the staff that is in charge of the PSA here. And I really do think that we can make everybody a safer neighborhood, a better place for us to visit and to live. All my information is on the MPD website if you want to reach out to me. Phone numbers are on there, emails on there, a beautiful picture of me that my wife wants to hang on the mantle at home, but I think that's a little bit arrogant of me to do. But I'm glad to be back here in 3D. If you had rolled the dice and said pick a number 1 through 7, what district commander you want to be, hands down it would have been back for 3D. So I appreciate the opportunity to be back here leading 3D.
All right, stat time. For the month of January, we actually had, let me see, 2 burglaries, 25 thefts, and we also had a homicide. And I've gotten quite a few calls in reference to the homicide, which is actually closed, happened at 426 M Street. M Street. Like I said, that's a closed case. And I actually need to give you guys another phone number for me. That's going to be 202-673-6925. Actually, make that 23. That's going to be in the sergeant's office. You have any? 202?
Yes, sir.
673?
Yes, sir.
6923.
Thanks.
You have any questions for me?
How many burglars did you say you have in January?
Oh, 37. No, that was wrong. 2.
I got this crime report off of the MPD crime report, so I'm just trying to reconcile what you said.
Let me see what you got.
We got this offline from, this is the resource crimemap.dc.gov. So they're showing 15, well, that was last year. This year we're showing 21, so I'm trying to reconcile.
Now, let me see what, because like I said, from Mashville burglaries, you got 2. So I don't know where your,
I'm getting it from crimemap.dc.gov. So is that website being updated properly? Because this is open to the general public, so this is where we're gathering this information.
Is that showing the entire district, or is that just showing 308?
It shows all the district, all the.
So the entire
No,
third
this is
district?
for-
This is for 3D.
All
Right,
right, so
for
that, I
308.
think
I'm
he's
here
just
for
reporting,
308.
Okay.
PSA.
Okay,
PSA.
gotcha.
that could be our
Okay.
difference there. Calendar year, you said 21? Yes, that's for the entire third district, calendar year, 21,
Okay.
correct.
you still have to say, we don't have that many.
Yeah, that many days in the PSA to have that
Yeah.
many.
And then we move on to
All right.
second line. Cool.
So,
Wait, only is
check
2.
that out. Okay, anything else?
Any further questions, either from the commission or the community?
I want to point out to you, because you'll be leaving, we will have a new hotel opening up soon in my area, the Homewood Suites. Yes.
What's the exact address?
So the exact address is
465.
465 New York Avenue. If you would pay attention to that.
When's this supposed to open exactly?
You know how you, April?
April 20th, I'll give you my card.
Okay.
Well, if there are no other questions, I'll take a moment to thank our new commander for his long service to our community. I remember us walking the streets back when we were a sergeant, and later as an inspector, now as a commander. So congratulations on your post. We look forward to cooperation with the third district.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, moving on, we have Douglas Klein, who's the new prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Good evening, everybody. No, I definitely don't need the microphone. I was in the Marines. They always taught us to project our voice outward, so if you can't hear me, let me know. My name's Doug Klein. I'm an assistant U.S. attorney in the U.S. Attorney's Office. I've been doing it for over 20 years. I've done homicide cases, federal narcotics, carjackings, public corruption type cases. Currently, I'm doing a lot of the community outreach in the 1st District. Overlaps a little bit here. The reason I'm coming here tonight is, well, first of all, I want to introduce a person who assists me and works at our office as a community outreach specialist, Carolyn Crank.
Hello.
And she's provided some information I'll talk about briefly at the end, but I know you guys have a lot on your plate here. So I want to get right into pre-trial holds when somebody is arrested, okay, specifically in robberies and violent crimes. I know that's very concerning to the community that you want these people held in jail. The person who ultimately makes the decision whether or not that person is going to remain in jail, of course, is the judge. So sometimes there's a misconception in the community. I've heard, well, why did you let that guy out? Well, the U.S. Attorney's Office, we don't let people out. It's the judge's decision when we ask for a hold. So, for example, we have different types of holds in any type of case. It could be a robbery case, it could be a misdemeanor case, prostitution or theft. The first hold is if there is a pending case. So if the person is arrested for any charge and they have a pending case, doesn't matter what type of case they have, we can ask that that person be held in jail. So the person is a prostitute, okay, and they have 2 or 3 other prostitution cases, we can ask that that person be held pending trial. That's once again, that's up to the judge. That's a subjective decision. They'll look at the person's record, whether or not they believe that this person should be held pending trial. So even when we make that request, it's not automatic. The judge may say, you know, thank you for asking for that hold, but I'm not going to hold this person. Obviously, you have the defense counsel who's going to be arguing that the person should be let go. Once again, that's a subjective hold. We have an A1B hold. So if the person is arrested and they have a pending sentencing case. So say somebody's arrested for breaking into a vehicle and they have a sentencing for a theft case which they had either pled guilty to or were convicted. We can ask that that person be held because here it is, they're pending a sentencing already in Superior Court and they get arrested again before they're even sentenced. Once again, the judge will make a call on that, looking at the person's record, the different arguments from the government, the defense, whether or not that person will be held. They'll either grant or deny that request. A1C hold, and these are all under 23 DC Code 1322. So 23 DC Code 1322, you can Google it, it'll give you the whole code book, you can look it up. So an A1C hold is if the person is on probation or parole. So of course, if a person is on probation for robbery and they get arrested for breaking into cars, of course we're going to ask that that person be held, because here the person is on probation, they've already violated their probation, they've been arrested for another offense. Once again, the judge can either grant or deny that hold. So sometimes they grant our holds, sometimes they do not. I know people get upset when you have a person who is a recidivist who's committing crimes after crimes and they get released. But that happens because obviously we can't hold every single person in jail pending trial. Now there's one hold that is a mandatory hold. That is called a B1A hold. So if there is any type of violent crime, burglary, robbery, armed robbery, felony assault, assault with a dangerous weapon, serious domestic violence cases that are felonies, we're going to ask for a 1322 B1A hold. Automatic. Okay, if the judge finds probable cause at the C10 arraignment, it's going to be automatic. They get presented, you know, they get arrested and they get presented. We present them with some documents, the court with some documents. If the judge finds probable cause, that's automatic. So the judge has to hold that person for 3 days. Within that 3 days, there's going to be another hearing to determine whether or not that person will remain in trial for 100 days. Because if a person is held in jail, okay, if they're held, we have 100 days to try them. Because obviously if somebody's in jail pending trial, we can't hold them forever. The government has an obligation to bring that case as soon as possible. We can get a 20-day extension for good cause. Now in homicide cases, it's a little different. It's a discretionary hold, but obviously most of our homicides, people are held in jail, okay? I can tell you the majority of homicides, the vast majority of people that are arrested for murder are held in jail pending trial. In that case, we have up to 9 months to indict the case, okay? But I can tell you from experience that the judges, you know, they don't have to give you 9 months, okay? So even though it says we get 9 months, the judge is going to be pressing us to have that case indicted. But on the other hand, many homicide cases may take a year. I've had homicide cases that didn't go to trial for 1.5 years. So it all depends on the case. So those are the basics of the holds. And once again, the only mandatory hold is a B1A hold. And that's only for 3 days. After that, once again, we got to bring the evidence out, and if the judge can change the conditions of release. Even if the person's released, there's another alternative we'll ask for, which I ask for a lot. It's called heightened supervision. So if I know the person isn't going to be held, I say, look, I want this person to be monitored. So pretrial services, the pretrial service agency, which looks at the people's records and makes recommendations to the court and actually manages people when they're on release. It's called the pretrial services agency. They can the judge can put the person on what we call heightened supervision. That person will then have to be subjected to phone calls, random, they got to be home at certain hours. Many times we'll ask that they have a GPS device, which is placed on their ankle. So we're going to know, okay, pretrial services agency will monitor wherever that person goes. So if that person commits a crime while they have a GPS ankle bracelet on, what do you think we can do? We can determine whether or not they were at that location where another crime occurs, and obviously it's a deterrent if the criminal's smart enough to know I have a GPS device on my body, and wherever I go, they know where I'm going. So, and then finally, there's just personal recognizance, okay? Sometimes we'll ask for a halfway house, that's very rare, but personal recognizance is where the person is basically on their own, you know, they're out. They may have to do drug testing though. A lot of times we ask them that they have to do drug testing, so they'll have to come in once a week for drug testing. We do not have a bond system in the District of Columbia. We believe we have a model system because Nobody is going to be held in jail simply because they don't have money, okay? So it's not where you can go in other jurisdictions, you know, the person has no money and they go, you know, $10,000 bail or 10%. Well, of course, that person doesn't have a penny to their name. They have no chance of getting out of jail. In DC, it is strictly determined by the merits of whether or not that person has pending case, probation, pending sentencing. Another one I forgot to mention, flight risk. Flight risk. Whenever I'm analyzing a case, I'm always looking to see whether the person has been convicted of not showing up for court. It's called a Bail Reform Act violation. It can be a felony or a misdemeanor. So if somebody doesn't show up for court, they can actually be convicted of BRA, as we call it. So if a person has multiple BRAs, like I go through their record and 3 times they've been convicted of BRA, what does that tell you? That tells you the person is a flight risk, they're probably not going to show up for court. So, and in many cases, I'll have multiple requests. They may be a flight risk, they may be on probation, and they may be pending sentencing. So I'll ask for all 3. So that's how it works. And once again, the judge makes the decision. I had a case recently. It was a person who was accused of multiple thefts. I asked for an A1C hold because he was on probation. Denied. I asked for a stay away. Denied. I asked for HISP. Denied. Okay? Doesn't happen all the time. There's various factors that go into the decision-making process, and the judge made a decision that he wasn't going to grant those in this case. In other cases, they do grant them. So we make a determination. We understand that everybody can't be held. We can't have people, you know, being held in jail for, you know, every little minor offense under the sun. But we also understand, as a community prosecutor, that when somebody is a multiple offender, somebody who is, you know, terrorizing the community just, you know, by breaking into cars, burglarizing, doing whatever, we're going to do our part to ask for a hold, okay, and see if we can get that person held pending trial. Of course, you know, they're presumed innocent until proven guilty, obviously. So once again, we hold somebody, we have to try the case very quickly. So in conclusion, my name is Doug Klein. I can give you my phone number. You can call me. I also do, I'll come back another time and talk about community impact statements, because I have to take this whole other ball game there. You can call me if you want to, if you have a question, a legal question. If you're a victim of a crime, call the police, please, 911. But if you have a legal question, call 202-660-2150. That's 202-660-2150. My name is Douglas Klein. You can get me at douglas.klein@usdoj.gov, douglas.klein@usdoj.gov. Question about stuff that's happening in your community, a case that you're curious about or whatever, give me a call. We left here for you, maybe the ANC commissioners can make copies. This is a court report that maybe the ANC commissioners can sign up for. Every month we put out this court report. It gives interesting stories about recent convictions of high-profile cases that we've prosecuted. In addition, in the back, for whatever month this is, what is this? December 2015. This has every person that was charged with a crime in the 1st District, okay, Ward 6, the 1st District. PSA, location of the offense, name of the defendant. So you can see, you know, where the prosecution cases were, where the car thefts were occurring, who was charged in that. It's called the court report. And Carol, how do you sign up for that?
Well, it's on the.
It's actually on here, and you can actually have this sent to you via email. So maybe the ANC commissioners could sign up, and then you'll have that for your meetings, and you can compare that with the statistics with the MPD. Thank you. So any questions? Okay. Thank you for having me. Oh, I want to thank the ANC and Mr. Moulton for doing a community impact statement in a recent case. There was a violent crime case, correct? Yes, he was convicted, and the ANC, with Mr. Moulton's obviously great assistance, they prepared a community impact statement. That's actually going to go to the judge. He's actually being sentenced, I believe, this week, right, or next week. So the judges are allowed to consider community impact statements at the sentencing, along with the victim impact statement. So now the community actually has an opportunity. And I'll come back to another meeting maybe in a month or, next month or so, and I can tell you how to do a community impact statement, and maybe Mr. Moulton can assist with that, and he can explain how he did. It's very simple. So, thank you.
Thank you, Doug, for coming. With that, I want to take again another moment just to thank Mr. M. For doing these statements for us. It's a huge responsibility and a big job, but it matters so much when the judge reads what the community feels.
Right.
Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, I mean, we don't usually submit community impact statements for misdemeanors, but the 3D CAC submitted one last week, and the judge almost tripled the guy's sentence over what the prosecutors asked for because of the community impact statement, because he understood the neighborhood that this guy was been operating in.
And remember, the judges live in the District of Columbia.
Yeah.
So they're citizens just like you. So when they read about the multiple robberies on Capitol Hill, and they got a guy that's, committed multiple robberies on Capitol Hill, and they know that the community has been terrorized, they're going to take that seriously. So these community impact statements can have a great impact, and I want to thank you once again for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Next, I'd like to invite Frank Maduro from the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services to come forward and make an announcement.
Absolutely, thank you so much, Vice Chair, fellow commissioners. Basically, I just have two announcements. I want to announce the fact that tomorrow we're going to have the Ward 6 DEMS meeting. It's going to be at Friendship Charter School. That's located at 1345 Potomac Avenue Southeast, and the mayor will be holding discussions on affordable housing, homeless services, and crime prevention and enforcement. Councilmember Charles Allen, Councilmember Anita Bonds, Councilmember Vincent Orange will be present, and alongside the Chief of Police, Deputy Chief of Police, and Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, and many other dignitaries. I also want to let you know that I'm going to be relinquishing my responsibilities over the war to Mr. Edward Doxson, and I just want to basically thank the community for allowing me to serve and to assist in making this community great. I also want to thank all of the commissioners here present. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to serve you. So with that said, I want to make sure that you get to know the new Ward 6 liaison to the mayor's office, Mr. Edward Doxson.
Thank you, appreciate it. I got to give a speech. Good evening, everyone. My name is Edward Doxson. I'm the new Ward 6 liaison for the Executive Office of Mayor Bowser, as Frank said. Just to give you a brief background on myself, I'm a fourth generation Washingtonian. Grew up between Ward 5 and Ward 6. Proud graduate of McKinley Technology High School. Also alum of Delaware State University, where I earned my social work degree. And just to give you a background of my interest and my passion as far as community service and serving the community. I lost my best friend at the age of 15, so to hear you guys up here talking about public safety and robberies and homicides and things like that is something that's dear to my heart. And I was introduced into politics and civic engagement when Mayor Fenty came to my best friend's funeral, and I joined the youth council. So a couple years later, I'm here, and I'm now working on behalf of Mayor Bowser. So I'm looking forward to building relationships with you guys, learning about the issues here in the community. As we say, the eyes and the ears on behalf of Mayor Bowser, and get some things done. So thank you. So yes, my email is edward.doxson, and that's DOXEN at dc.gov.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
Do you have a Twitter account?
Yes, so it's Dream.
At Dream?
Yes, by any means.
Dream at Dream?
Dream by any means.
By any means. It's a long one.
So we thank you so much once again, and we look forward to seeing you at the Ward 6 DEMS tomorrow at 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank, for all you've done for this commission. We really appreciate all the time and effort you've given us. You have a way to make it. Yeah, but you're gonna talk about that in a minute anyway, right? Yeah.
So our first case this evening is an ABC licensing case. This is the Homewood Suites at 465 New York Avenue Northwest. And have the applicants come forward.
My name is Matt Menorah. I'm with the firm Madison O'Brien on behalf of the applicant, MHF DC Operating. We're looking to open up a Homewood Suites at 465 New York Avenue Northwest. The operating hours are 24 hours. This is the hotel, of course. We're looking for service of alcohol between the hours of 4 and 9 p.m. Yes. Oh, sure. Sorry about that. So the operating hours are 24 hours because of the hotel. These alcohol service hours are from 4 to 9, 7 days a week, because there's planned managers' receptions, in which they're going to serve beer and wine, probably between 5 and 7, 4 to 5 times per week. There's 197 rooms, and that's really all we have to say about the application. I hope it doesn't scare anybody. It shouldn't. We're looking to be a good member of the community. Projected opening date is April 20th.
Can you clarify that this is for?
Oh, yes, sorry, yes, the manager's receptions are just for guests of the hotel. No one's going to be coming off the street to be able to buy anything or anything like that. It's really just it's an amenity for the guests as it's an extended stay hotel. So just really trying to make things a little more comfortable for those who are staying there.
So this is in my area, and I can say to the general manager that we are so excited to have the Homewood Suites come. We're excited to have the construction done, right, Jared? And so we welcome the future guests and your staff to the community. It's going to be great. So I'm in full support for the other community, the support for the liquor license.
And they did make a presentation to the ABC licensing committee last Thursday, and the committee recommended to the full commission that the application be supported and approved. Was there anything further from the applicant before we go to the audience?
No,
Okay.
nothing at this time.
Questions from the audience?
Go ahead, please.
I do have a question. Do you all have parking for the public at this hotel? And if so, I'd like to know how many spaces you have to accommodate that hotel.
For guests of the hotel or for the public?
For both. I'd like to know if it's open to the public, is it guests only, and how many spaces do you have in general?
I'm going to defer to the general manager for this question.
We have 88 spots, and it'll be for guests only.
88 guests only. Thank you.
Correct.
Are there any job opportunities that will be made available to the community?
Most definitely. We're currently hiring department managers, and we'll be hiring more line-level employees probably as we get closer into March.
So I'm having a meeting with him tomorrow. We're going to be talking about workforce development and neighborhood issues he should be aware of, certainly.
We look forward to helping to publicize those opportunities.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Nigro, would you like to make a motion?
Okay. I move that ANC 60 supports requests for the liquor license for the Homewood Suites at 465 New York Avenue.
And that we communicate that support.
Communicate that to Abra, yes. Absolutely.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion by the commission? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
So for the record, that was 7-0-0. Moving on to our first zoning case, zoning officer preservation case for the evening. This is 919 R Street Northwest, a historic preservation case. We have the applicant's representatives come forward, please.
Is there a gentleman, Leo, here?
Probably can't grab the microphone, so hopefully they'll be loud enough for everybody. I have extra sets here. Commissioners want to take a look at it. Good evening, my name is Ron Schneck, and I'm with Square 134 Architects, and I'm here representing Lot 7 Development. And what I'd like to talk about is the renovation and addition to a project at 919 R Street. We had met with the Development Subcommittee last Thursday, and we met with the FSNA last night. For the most part, there were no major concerns. We've talked through a couple things, but I'm glad to sort of take any feedback or additional comments tonight. If you're not too familiar with it, this is 919 R Street. We do have letters of support from 921 R Street and 917 R Street. What's interesting about this street is this is sort of halfway through the street. It's sort of two-story buildings, and then it becomes sort of three-story buildings, as you can see here. The real important part about this renovation and addition is per historic guidelines, and we've been working with HPO, is that you cannot see the addition from the street, and that's what we're complying with. And so this gives you, oops. So this is the actual addition, which is the third floor, and as you can see, it is set very far back from the front of the building. And what we do, if you're not familiar with the process, is HPO as part of their approval, requires us to do what's called a flag test, and all that means is we go and we build a temporary structure on top to confirm that you can't see what is being proposed from the street. And that takes place sort of during the permitting process. So we'll do that in the next couple weeks to months. And in terms of sort of the interior renovation, although historic doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to say on what we do on the interior, it's an existing single-family home, and what we'll be doing is converting it into 2 condominium units, both of 3 bedrooms. We're trying to attract potentially young families. So the first unit will be the cellar level and the first floor, and then the second unit will be the second floor and the partial third floor on the addition. And as you can see here, you know, obviously you're not able to see the addition from the street. Now the back of the property, again, this is just for we're asking for your support to go to HPRB, which we will be doing at the end of the month. This is just for HPRB approval. There's no zoning relief or anything like that we're asking for. The rear of the building, we are going to modify to provide, to open it up a little bit, right? These are the existing type of openings.